Cancer. Hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for mid-February 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Cancer collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for these beautiful Cancerians in mid-February? What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Cancer in mid-February. What's the vibe? What's the energy? And I hope you all had a very happy Valentine's Day. I hope you like the little heart background behind me. You know, I like to be festive. And we have our good old friend, Mr. Bookhead, showing up for you. And a lot of you know, if you watch regularly, that I love this card. He doesn't show up often, but when he does, I can't get over the costume that he's wearing. I just think it's so awesome. It's very much tied into Page of Pentacles type of energy, which is pretty good. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the February subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk about this unique looking individual. So as you can see here with the imagery, we have this young looking chap there with this interesting getup, right? He's got like books as a necklace, books for a hat, holding books. He's got scrolls. So it just screams Page of Pentacles energy to me. Now, what might that mean? Pages are usually a more young, youthful, new type of energy. So there's a freshness to it that I really like. And I always say when it comes to all pages, they represent students and they're messengers. So there could be some sort of tie to communication, whether it's something you do say or something that you want to say. But the thing I love about this is the absorption of information. Now is a great time to learn new things, new skills, new ventures. Um, Even if you're like going within and doing spiritual stuff, like Mr. Bookhead here is great for absorbing information. Now, some of you might have a thirst for that more so than you normally do, where it's like, I need to know this. I need to figure this out. It's like, give me more information, more, which can be good as long as you don't overload yourself, right? Like, so watch out for information overload with this, because that's the only downside to Mr. Bookhead to me, is that it could do a little too much, right? It could overextend itself or just like flood itself with too much information to where it could get really shaky and kind of mess with the mind. So we're just going to let him chill right there. Pace yourself. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for Cancer in mid-February. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. So it was titled An Emotional Warning. And as someone that has major water sign placements myself, I know we kind of exist in that emotional realm, right? We have like 1 foot in the material, 1 foot in the emotional. To me, last week's felt particularly more high charged than it usually does. And I felt a lot of ups and downs. So hopefully it hasn't been too rough on you. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Cancer, mid-February. What's the vibe here? Let's get these cards out nice and quick, hopefully. Yeah, the deck is being very specific. There we go. The first one tumbled out. All right, cool. King of Wands. That is a pretty good way to start, at least for me. I like an action card in the beginning, right? So we'll get that King of Wands tucked in right there by the amethyst. Let's keep it going. What else do we have here for Cancer? Yeah, that's a lot of energy, but different than what we saw last week. Okay, we got the Ten of Swords in position number 2. It's another thing we need to keep a very close eye on. Let's get one more here for Cancer, please. Thank you. Cool. Temperance. All right, cool. So I like the spiritual protection here when I see Temperance right on the back end. We do have the fire-air combination showing up pretty heavy. But let's talk about it. Don't get too stressed out about that card in the middle. Let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. But at first glance, elementally, because I always like to look at the elements first. As mentioned, it's a fire air combo, and I think that's important because it tells us how the energy flows, how the energy is moving, or the areas of life that could be very important. And with the fire on the outside, the air on the inside, I would say with this combo, we need to watch out. It could be a little combustible, it could be a little explosive, but when it comes to fire, that's the realm of action. It's the realm of passion, drive, desire, whether it's actions we do, the actions we want to do, actions other people do. It's our internal motor. So there is a lot of oomph to it. There's a lot of spice to this fiery type of energy. It could speak about energy levels. So maybe you're feeling more energetic than you normally are. Maybe you're feeling a little more drained. It all really depends. I have both showing up here. So we do have this little up and down. It's like I'm lively, I'm tired. I'm lively, I'm tired. So we'll need to see how it plays out. The only downside to fire is that sometimes it could be a little unpredictable. And moving to the middle, we have swords, lots of swords, and that does deal more with the logical mind. When I think of swords, I think of information, kind of like what we saw with Bookhead. Communication, huge when it comes to the swords, but also the mindset, the mind state. Now, the downside to swords, sometimes it could be a little cold, sometimes it could be a little detached, and it does flow quickly. What I'm most concerned, I don't even want to say concerned, but what I'm most looking at right here is how the energy plays, because like we have a very vibrant energy, then we have a very chill energy, and we got this 10 of swords, but we also have the counterbalance. So like there's this energy that seems like it could get a little wild, but there's also an energy that balances it out. Let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we're starting with the King of Wands. Now, for some of you, that could be a fire sign you're connected to. Remember, it's not gender specific. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius could be any of those. Maybe you have that one of those placements yourself. And I always say when it comes to kings, they represent control of their respective suit. So we spoke about the fire, how it could be the actions and the passion and energy levels. Fire does also deal with physical health and vitality as well. So when I see the King of Swords, especially with the King of Wands, pardon me, especially with a fire air combo, it's like, okay, this energy kind of keeps things on track, which is a good thing. So he is control of where you put your energy, where you put your focus, where you put your emotion, kinda, right? The King of Cups is more tied in with that. But the King of Wands is about focused intention. What am I focusing on? Am I putting too much energy into one thing? Am I not putting enough energy here? It's usually very outgoing, entrepreneurial, confident type of energy. So I do like the King of Wands quite a bit. But the downside to the King of Wands, it can get frustrated easily. So there might be certain things or people or situations where it's like, this is frustrating me. Screw it. Whatever happens, happens. It's like one of those. So we need to see, because all fire cards do have the potential to do a quick turn on us. So we do want to clarify it, of course. We're going to get him tucked back in here as we move on to the middle card, which a lot of you probably are zeroing in on, and I don't blame you. We got the 10 of swords right there in the center. Now, you know me, I'm an optimist. I like to see the silver lining. But I do keep it real with you. This is one of the more challenging cards in the whole entire tarot deck. See that person there, 10 swords in them? Yikes. Now, of course, it can mean a lot of rough things. It could represent endings. It could represent pain. It could represent difficult situations. You want to make sure you're taking care of your health whenever this card shows up. More so the physical health and vitality. It's not the nicest, easiest type of energy. Now, remember, we do have a counterbalance. So we do want to see, like, hey, what's going on here with this 10 of swords? Because there is a lot of energy that seems to balance it off. The big silver lining, if this isn't a warning of some kind, or if this isn't something rough that you might be dealing with, the 10 of swords is good because it tells me there's nowhere to go but up. That's the big silver lining with this card, where it's like, okay, that happened, or all right, that is what it is. Let's go from there. So I like it for that. So we will see what's up. Now, moving to the back end, we have the card that I really like for this reading, even more so than the King of Wands. We have Temperance right there on the back end, big Sagittarius vibes. So more of that fire. And depicted on this card, you see it, I mentioned it, it's the Archangel Michael, the defender, the protector. So first thing my mind always goes to with this card is spiritual protection, spiritual insulation. The angels, guides, spirit team, whatever ones you use, being with you and insulating you, even if you don't see it or feel it. So it is protection from that other side. Now, if you're more of a pragmatic person and you're not too big on that kind of stuff, this is a card that can also represent patience. So when I see like King of Wands, 10 of swords, Temperance, it's like Spirit might want you to pace yourself with something, pace yourself with healing, of some kind. Temperance can sometimes show up when we're refraining from something as well. So whether it's a thought process or anything, temperance is trying to keep things chill, trying to keep things calm. This is really great for a soothing effect. The downside to temperance, sometimes it could feel a little stuck, right? Sometimes it could get frustrated as well. So there is this little undertone of potential frustration, but I'm thinking it's okay. I want to dive deeper on all the Cancer. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. Let's see what's happening for my good friends. And yeah, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on Mr. King of Wands. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Cancer, drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, King of Wands, what's he doing? Thank you. Okay. Seven of Swords in the upright. A little bit of unexpected action there. Now, for some of you, when I see the King of Wands with the Seven of Swords, there could either be someone or something that just does not make sense. That's initially what I'm feeling here, because the Seven of Swords is a very shrouded, hidden type of card, where it's like, why are you acting that way? Or why did you say that? It seems to me where it's like something that really piques my interest initially. I'm getting multiple messages here. So again, whether this is someone taking a surprising action or acting a little different. That's how it feels to me, like unexpected action, surprising action, where it's like, all right, you're acting a little different than you normally do. What's going on? So your intuition might be hitting you about somebody or something and like how they're moving. It's like, I feel something's up. I can't put my finger on it, but I could tell something's up. So just watch out for that. People acting a little different or just action out of the blue. Because remember, the King of Wands is focused intention. And when we see the Seven of Swords, even if it doesn't make sense, it's someone taking action that seems to be out of nowhere. Now, again, this card can sometimes represent someone that seems a little sneaky and stuff like that. I'm not really feeling that intuitively. Um, there's also this energy for some of you, obviously not all of you, where spirit doesn't want you to waste your creative potential on hypotheticals. Okay, what if this? What if that? What if this? What if that? When I see the King of Wands with the Seven of Swords, it's like, all right, well, don't assume the worst. Don't go pessimistic. Don't assume the worst. Uh, worry about what's in front of you. So take that for whatever it's worth. We're going to keep moving. So we have the surprising action, someone acting different, but also not to read too much into hypotheticals and what ifs. Very specific. Let's keep going. Let's see what that Ten of Swords has. I really want to get over to Temperance as well. So why? Ooh, okay, that card popped out quick. Okay. Yeah, Judgment in reverse underneath it. I feel like this is actually one of the better ways we want to receive this. So we do have another angelic card surrounding this Ten of Swords. So again, if any of you are going through a time of recovery or you're going through anything that's a little bit difficult or that's bothering you or taxing you, this is extra good because it insulates you and is keeping you safe in some kind of way. So even if you're going through something difficult, whether it's at work, personal relationships, health, whatever it might be, there's something spirit is like protecting you from. That's what's coming through to me. Now, judgment in reverse can sometimes represent things returning, things popping back up, where it's like, all right, here we go again. I'm going to have to deal with this again. Really watch for intrusive thoughts in this time, because that's another thing. Ten of Swords, judgment in reverse. It's like I feel like I'm either doing the same thing over or the thoughts are going over and over again. Um, Similar to what we had here in the front, where it's like, all right, try not to focus too much on the what ifs. And this one's like, all right, well, try not to focus too much on the past. We're going to have to see how it all goes moving further. I like that there's a safety net. There's like an energetic safety net for a lot of you. So if you are going through some serious or difficult situations, which you could be, like Ten of Swords with Judgment in reverse is like, all right, I'm dealing with this thing now, and this is taking up a lot of my energy, a lot of my attention. So back to that other thing I was saying, where it's like one thing at a time. Don't overflood yourself. Remember, we had the bookhead in the beginning. Remember what I said about him? He can overwhelm himself. Spirit is like one thing at a time. Don't worry about the what ifs, worry about what's right in front of you. One situation or problem at a time. One situation, like take it seriously, treat it as important, and then on to the next. So we have this energy that compartmentalizes. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's see what Temperance has, then we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow. So it seems like problem resolution and your focus seems to be the thing that's showing up here the most. All right, now this is an absolutely beautiful result in the end. Okay, so we have the Empress in the upright, beautiful Libra energy, also Taurus. That's big Venus vibes. When I see the Empress, to me, she represents motherhood, mother figures, but the big thing with her is blessings and abundance. And there's this big overarching theme throughout the whole reading where it's like, oh, don't worry about this, don't focus on that, the good stuff is coming. Like there is this energy of blessings and abundance here on the back end, which I really like. So there's this energy that seems to be soothing me while I read this because it's like, oh yeah, we got that. That's not that nice. That's not that nice. But take a breath. Everything is going to be okay. Like there's this energy that I feel like is it's a comfort to me and it's making me feel good. So in the end, even if you're here, even if you're here, even if you're going through things, maybe even if you're not there, like spirit's saying, like Cancer, you'll be okay. Relax. So remember, the Empress is a card of nurturing, love, care. So whether this is a long-awaited reward of some sort, or whether it is that calming type of energy, I just think it's great. So to me, on the back end, I do see a blessing in the end. Okay. Now, again, some of you, it doesn't mean you're in a Ten of Swords moment or you have to be in there or that you have Seven of Swords going on. We're looking mainly at the end result here, which to me is either a payoff or a blessing of some kind. And to me, it kind of just works out that way. There's something where, yeah, no, that worked out how it needed to. Like if that didn't happen, then I wouldn't have found this. Or if that didn't happen, then this couldn't have happened. Where there's divine timing aspected here, which I think is beautiful. So I love this blessing on the back end, but the road to it is what I'm really focused on as well, because the road doesn't seem easy. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the a quick overview and recap. Then we'll get into the shadow card. If you kindly look in the box, position number one, we have the King of Wands with the Seven of Swords. Now, yes, this can be surprising, unexpected action. If you feel like someone's acting a little different, there could be someone or something that just doesn't logically make sense, and that could be hitting your intuition in a lot of different ways. So just watch out for that. People acting a little outside of themselves or just doing or saying things. It's like, whoa, where the hell did that come from? Aside from that, there was also this warning not to focus too much on hypotheticals. When I see the King of Wands with the Seven of Swords, it's like, don't put all your creative potential there. Try to focus on something different, like what's in front of you. Moving to the center, speaking of what might be in front of you, we have the Ten of Swords with Judgment in reverse. We got Archangel Michael, we got Archangel Gabriel showing up here. Now, to me, it is all about the pacing. Like, take one thing at a time. Like, take one serious or important situation, solve it, work through it, on to the next. There is like this energy of potential overwhelm. So, Spirit might want you to pace yourself in this time, whether it's a process you're going through or a healing journey, whatever you want to call it. Spirit just wants you to pace yourself one foot in front of the other, one at a time, because there could be this situation that should be taken seriously. On to the back end, though, we have Temperance with the Empress in the upright. Absolutely beautiful. To me, this is like a payoff or a reward in the end. And there's just something about it that I find very comforting and very soothing to me. So whether it's a thought, whether it's behavior, whether it's spirit doing it, I do think whatever things you might be going through, there's an aspect of divine timing to it where it's like, all right, if this didn't happen, if I wasn't dealing with this, then I would never reach that. So there's certain divine timing aspects, but I see a blessing. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this going here. What do we got for Cancer? What is in the shadows? Cool. Yeah, we got that King of Wands again. So the very first card in the main part of the spread is now showing up in your shadows once again. So this is a huge theme this week, my friends. Like, whether it's the actions people are taking, because remember, this is the shadow card, and this is a shadow area too. So there's like this shadowy energy around this fiery King of Wands energy for some reason or another. Now, we don't need to talk more about the zodiacs. I already gave you a good overview of what the King of Wands means in its best sense, where it focuses its energy, it doesn't waste its energy on certain things. That's very, very important, that there is this energy across the board of pacing yourself, don't overwhelm yourself, one thing at a time, one foot in front of the other. This reinforces that. But there is still this energy that there could be a couple people just acting in ways that might just confuse you or confound you. There's like this mystery. It's like, why are you doing that? Or why would you say that? Or why? Like, there's just something about someone's behavior that I find very off for some reason. But that doesn't mean worst case scenario. Keep that in mind. So we're just going to put him down right there, my friends. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details. The February subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, you could book a personal reading with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com, so we could have a little chat. My February calendar is up, so go check that out. They usually go pretty quick. But for the February subscriber surprise, we're doing a nice different style this month. We're doing a winner's choice. So the winners, which will be 3, will have their choice of the Tarot of the Owls, the Gilded Tarot Royale, or a handmade crystal pendant from my shop, mastermetaphysics.com, once again. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the cards we saw in this week's reading, which one caught your attention the most, whether it really inspired you or hit you right in your feelings. Anyone that stood out to you, and you'll be entered to win. And at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.